Let me record. Let's go. Okay. So for those that don't know, my name is Alicia. I'm pretty sure you're probably all aware of that. I am a diamond leader with doTERRA, and I understand the compensation plan, I'd say fairly well. I'm no Ura Auckland though. So let's not ask Alicia to give you an in-depth on dynamic compression. I will explain to you what dynamic compression is and we'll leave it there, all right? Okay, so the very first thing I wanted to cover is what the compensation plan can actually mean for you. So I'm going to share my screen to do this. So before we actually start talking about what it means to earn the money and how you're going to do it, let's just talk about what you actually can earn so you can see why understanding the compensation plan is important. So we are going to share this screen with you. Okay, so I'm just going to make that little, so you should be, nope, that. Okay. I don't know why it's not showing me as the active speaker. Hopefully you can all see my screen and me in the corner talking to you. So this is where you look at what your goal is as far as the income goes that you're going to use this compensation plan to support. The ranks start, obviously they start lower than elite, but elite is where you can really start to see some income. Now, these are the averages put out by doTERRA. So you need to remember that these are going to include silvers that have managed to enroll a diamond on their second level, but they're still ranked silver. These are going to include fledgling silvers that have hit once and they're aiming to hit again 6 months later. Rank happens non-linearly for most people and varies over their doTERRA career. So if the average for an elite is $365 per month, you can be rest assured that there are going to be elites earning $50 to $100 a month. There are going to be elites earning close to $1,000 a month. It is going to depend upon the positioning of people in your team, the size of your team, what bonuses you're getting, etc. And that is the same through every single rank, guys. Depending on your structure, depending on your organizational volume, your income at that rank is going to vary. But these are ballpark figures. So basically, if you would like to have a gold income, so if you would like $4,875 per month, you need to be an established gold. That's the best way to look at this. So what does an established gold mean? It means every month by about the 15th of the month, that is the rank you are hitting without you having to plug holes with new enrollments. That is what is happening from your LRPs, okay? So that's where you're looking at. So when you start hitting gold, your income might be $2,000 because you might have perfect structure and you might hit gold with the minimal 15,000 OV that you need. So just bear in mind when you're looking at these. So there you're elite through to diamond. And then if my computer is going to play ball, we see the two big players, okay? So here you've got your blue diamond and your presidential diamond. And you will notice that this shows you, this graph here shows you what this income is made up of, okay? So fast start is one bonus. Power of 3 is a second bonus. Uni level, and have a look at that, guys. Uni level is by far and large, like if you're looking at the green section, you're looking at the green section compared to the other colors, is by far and large the biggest component of your check. So this is why uni level is so important. When you start heading up into these guys, so
Get up.
Sorry, yep. Did someone want to say something? No, hang on. I'm going to find who do I need to mute. Scrolling. I'm just looking for someone that's unmuted. I don't know why it won't just let me mute. Okay, it's telling me everyone's muted. Thank you, whoever muted. Okay, so when you scroll just quickly back up here, you can see Down in the lower ranks, that's not necessarily the case, guys. So remember, this was Fast Start, the purple. The blue was Power of 3. The green is uni level. And the yellow is your leadership pools. So in the early days, the bonuses are where it's at. That's how you're going to get quick cash coming through doTERRA. As your journey goes along and you build a sustainable and you build a foundational tree, this green section develops, and that's where your uni level comes in. So how do we get the 4 components of our money being paid to us? The first one is Fast Start. So Fast Start is paid on enrollment. So enrollment only. So that means I enroll person A, I get 20% of what they spend in their first 60 days. It's calculated on PV, and I get 20% of that paid to me as money. So Fast Start's paid 3 levels, as you can see there, okay? So when I enroll someone personally, I get 20%. January is my upline, so January would get 10%. And when I say my upline, it's my enrollment upline, not my sponsorship upline. So I get 20, January gets 10%. January's upline sponsor is Martha. So Martha gets 5%. That is how Fast Start works on enrollership. Okay? So the Fast Start is a bonus designed to say thank you for introducing someone to the company. It is structured in the 3 parts so that when I'm new, January is going to help support me and Martha is going to help her help me. It is done that way so that there is a support system in place for those new people trying to enroll somebody. So it keeps you being paid to help. So that's your Fast Start, which is paid on enrollment, okay? After 60 days, so after your person that you enrolled has been with doTERRA for 60 days, they fall off of Fast Start and into this uni level pool, okay? So which up here, which I'll get to that. So the first 60 days of anybody is paid as Fast Start. After that, they fall into the uni level pool. They are not ever paid out on twice. So if they are still in 60 days, these 3 people are the only people being paid on them. Once they go over 60 days, anybody that's entitled to uni level up to 7 levels is going to get it on them, okay? Do we all get that? I'm just going to stop sharing and make sure that there's no hands up that I can't see. Cool, so that makes sense to everybody. The next component, where the hell, there it is. The next component of your check is your Power of 3 bonus, okay? This is the fastest way to make big dollars. So if you've got, I can never do the math on this. You really think I would have done this before I started the Zoom, so I had the number in my head. It is 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 27 equals 40 people, okay? So for 40 people here, you can earn $1,500 US. This bonus is paid in US dollars, guys. So when that converts to your bank account, it's anywhere from like $1,900 to $2,200 a month. To get the same income using uni level, it takes a considerable number of more people. Let me just do a rough calculation and I'll tell you. So if we do roughly $2,000 divided by 0.0, it's going to take you roughly 400 people to get the same dollars in uni level, okay? So this is a quick way to get bigger dollars. That's why it's there. So you can get some income to keep you going until this takes over. So what is Power of 3? See this little key here, 100 PV? Each person in this equation must be doing a 100 PV LRP order. Yes, you can top them up. So if you're close to getting this one down here, the 1500, but you've got one or two little holes where someone's ordered 79 PV or they've ordered 98 PV, you can facilitate with that person getting a little extra order done to top it up to 100 to make sure that you are going to hit this level of bonus, okay? Obviously, that's a decision you make and it's a financial one and you're only ever going to do it when it's financially viable, but you can do that with them to make sure that you do get your bonus. Then with them, everyone doing the 100 PV, each group of 4. So you plus your 3, these 3 plus their 3, each group of 4 needs a 600 team volume. Does that make sense? So you need to have these 4 people accumulating to give you 600 OV. Good news though. If this is me here, I have my 3 doing my 100 PV. So this one might have done 105, this one's done 135, and this one's done 115. I've done 150. I'm still a bit over 100 PV short of hitting this 600. If I have 2 more people on this front line of mine and they have done a 70 PV order and a 65 PV order, I'm now over my 600. So that total 600 can come from you and anyone on your front line. So it's always handy to have some insurance policies on your front line to get your power of 3. Does that make sense? And obviously that trickles down. That's the same. Each level is you're just replicating the level above. So what you need to do with your front line is what your front line then needs to do with their front line, and then they repeat, okay? That's your power of 3 team bonus. And that is the best way to help get people money to pay for their oils. So when someone comes to you and says, oh, look, I'd really like to be ordering the LLV, but I just can't afford that kind of money every month for that lower PV. Like, you know, this is the way people see things to start with. When they haven't experienced LLV, they don't know how good it is. That's how someone looks at it. So you can offer them a solution. You've got a solution right here. They only need to introduce 4 to 6 people on their front line, do exactly the same thing with them. They're going to get their power of 3 bonus, which is $50 US, which is going to be roughly 60 to 65 Australian dollars. That's more than half their LLV paid for, guys. So it's a really good way to help people afford their oils, including yourself. So that's the power of 3 team bonus. Do we have any questions? I'm just checking for hands up. We've got no hands up. Nope, cool. Okay, so I'm going to leave uni level for last because it's the most involved. Once you hit leadership levels, so leadership levels were always considered silver. The founders incredibly introduced last year an empowerment bonus, which is this premier and silver bonus here. So what that is 1% of OV of everybody that hits premier and silver. So they combine all the OVs of those people, they give 1% to that pool, and then they split that pool into shares for every single person that has a personal enrollment of over 100 PV that month. So that adds up to roughly $260 to $280-ish a month. That is a really huge boost to your income when you're sitting at these 2 ranks, okay? That's massive. So again, to qualify for that, you must rank premier or silver, and you must have one personal enrollment that enrolled with at least 100 PV. And that is a bonus paid to you. When you're silver, you have access to a second pool. Now, this is the silver, gold, and platinum pool, known as leadership shares on your pay packet. And what this is referencing is 2% of all silver, gold, and platinum ranking OV combined, split into shares and paid out like this. Silver gets 1 share, gold gets 5 shares, and platinum gets 10 shares. So when you're starting to look at what the difference is between a gold pay and a platinum pay. So if your uni level is, let's say, let's just say $30,000, 30,000 OV, and you're ranked at gold, and you're wondering whether you want to make the financial decision to push hard to find that last 500 PV that's going to get you to platinum for that month. You can do a financial calculation for that. So you're going to get 5 extra leadership shares. They sit roughly at 200-ish Australian dollars. So I've seen them down at 160. I've seen them up at 250. I work on an average of 200 for easy math. So that would mean by going gold to platinum, it's going to be an extra roughly $1,000 in bonuses, and then the small amount of extra uni level I'm going to get because I am going to have that extra 500 OV that's going to kick me across from gold to platinum. That's a really easy way to put into real terms and monetary terms what the difference in pay is. So if you're silver but you're very close to gold and you're trying to work out the financial difference between being silver that month or ranking up to gold, there is a little extra you need to consider. When you go from silver to gold, this bonus disappears. So if you had qualified for this bonus, it now goes because you're going to go to gold, but you are going to receive 5 of these shares instead of 1. So that would mean you're going to get 4 extras, which let's say is roughly $800, but you're going to miss this one. So that's roughly, I'm going to say 250 because it makes my math really easy. So you're going to get roughly $550 extra if you can push from silver to gold, if you were only a couple of hundred PV short. Does that help everybody understand how you can actually calculate what the difference is going to be from one rank to the other when you're looking at being close and what the financial difference is for pushing to that next rank, etc.? I'm hoping so. I'm not seeing any hands up yet.
Alicia, hey.
Yeah, go, Tom.
Where does it have those ratios?
Which ones, hun?
So when you said, from silver, gold, from premier to silver, like where does it actually say how many shares you get per level?
I'm about to show you. Good question. Perfect. So this is where you find that information. Now I'm just going to share my screen again. Oh, does this picture have it? No, that is just the organizational volume. Hang on, I will pull that up for you. I thought that picture had it on there, but it didn't. Hold up a minute. I did have one of them up, but here we go. So on the compensation plan, I just need to share my screen. Hang on. Where is Zoomy? Yeah. So hopefully this is big enough for you to see. On the compensation plan from doTERRA, it shows you, and you can see, I just use Google, guys. Like when I'm looking for this info, I just Google and I just check the reference. Like this is a doTERRA picture. You will get very used to seeing this. This one happens to be sitting on the Share Success website. So I know it's accurate. These guys don't put up false information. But this is where you see here the shares. So these are the leadership performance shares that we were just talking about. So this is at silver, you get 1 share. At gold, you get 5. At platinum, you get 10. Okay, so that's where it shows you the number of shares you get. Now, you'll see underneath it's got 1+, 1+, 1+. if you read over here, you can earn additional shares for each new personally enrolled elite. So at these ranks of silver, gold, and platinum, when you have a personal enrollment, hit elite for the first time, you get 1 extra leadership share. So it's a nice incentive to help your people get to elite. When you jump up into the diamond, the blue, and the prezzies, you can get a premier bonus, okay? So when your personal enrollments hit premier here, you can get a leadership pool bonus as well. So that's where you find them, what shares you get. So I need to bring my other page back up. Hold on. Oh, no, I was on the right page. I just needed to change tabs. Sorry. So when you get then up to your diamond, your blue, and your presidentials, you get some different bonuses, okay? So you get the pooled bonus, and then you get the diamond if you're a diamond, you get the blue if you're a blue, and you get the prezi if you're a prezi, okay? So they are the same concept as these guys, but it's 1% of diamonds only, it's 1% of blues only, and it's 1% of prezzies only, broken up and paid to them accordingly, okay? And that's what's down here. So it shows you here the performance pools, which was the combined one. Then it shows you here the individual ones. So what diamonds would get from the diamond pool, blues from the blue pool, and prezzies from the prezzie pool. So you can see that that is how, when you start heading up here, the leadership pools do start to head on in to the same thing as your uni level, okay? So they're all bonuses. Now let's get to the fun stuff, which is the uni level. This is a very, very basic breakdown for you. Uni level is paid monthly on team volume outside of Fast Start. So remember, if someone is in their first 60 days, nobody is paid uni level on them. You get paid guaranteed 7 levels deep. The higher percentages are paid on the lower levels. It dynamically compresses up past non-qualifying members. So that's a little bit of an insurance policy, which I will explain briefly in a moment. So you can see elites are when you get paid at level 5. Premier, you get paid to level 6. Once you are silver and above, you get paid all 7 of your guaranteed levels, okay? Can you see what that adds up to? And this is based purely on building for power of 3. So you've got 3 on your front line, 9 on your second line, 27 on your third line, 81, 243, 729, 2,187 people. Their income is based on 150 PV orders. Why? Because if everybody is building for this, you've got your 4 people doing 150 PV orders, so that between the 4 of you, you're hitting your 600 OV to get your team volume. So that is what they've based this on. This is doTERRA telling you how to get the most out of the compensation plan. It is there in white, green, aqua, black for you, laid out perfectly. That is how you get the most. So why is it so important about our 7 levels? Now we get to go to the other pretty picture. So now we're heading over here. This is how you get paid. So I don't even look at Wellness Advocate, because if you're wanting to get power of 3, you need to be doing 100 PV, okay? So everybody that's interested in the compensation plan should be looking to have at least their power of 3. So you're going to start at least with 100 PV monthly order yourself. So as a manager, you're going to get paid on 2 levels. So that means if you've got anybody placed outside of 2 levels, there's no guarantee you're going to get paid on them. Director is down to 3, executive down to 4, elite down to 5, Premier down to 6. I know I just said this, but I'm telling you again. And silver and above will get paid on the 7th level. So if people are outside of your 7th level, there's no guarantee you're going to get paid on them, okay? No guarantee at all. Because once they're outside of the 7th level, if every single person in your organization is placing a 100 PV order and their volume is qualifying them to be paid down to 7 levels, you can't be paid for someone outside of level 7. It's not possible. Now, as you grow, as your team grows, you're going to end up with people outside your 7th level. On my tree, for example, I have one leg that goes down to 10. So I have one leg that goes down to my 10th level. And that is because I have enrolled the person on my front line, they've enrolled the person on their front line, and that has literally reoccurred down to level 10. I can't change that. I cannot change the natural growth on that leg to be anything shorter than 10. So that is perfectly okay. My tree is not going to collapse and I'm not going to lose all my income just because that leg goes down to level 10. What does happen is dynamic compression comes into play. So doTERRA's system pays out every ounce of uni level that is just there to be paid out. So what happens is the system actually looks up, okay? So the system starts with me. So if I look at my volume, I placed 280 PV order I have no idea what it was, 280 PV order last month. So it immediately looks up to pay the 2% because whoever's frontline I'm on should be getting my 2%, right? Then it will look to the next person that should be owed my 3%. Then it will look to who should be owed my 5%. If that person doesn't qualify, if they've only placed a 50 PV order, the 5% on my order doesn't just go back into the coffers. It looks to the next person up. Do they qualify? Yes. So they get it. That's what dynamic compression is. So that's why I can be paid for someone on my 10th level. If there is 3 or 4 people between me and that person not placing qualifying orders, I will still get paid on their compensation will be paid to me as it reaches up, okay? So how many levels do you need to get uni levels? So you can see now the different levels of uni level, as in you can be paid level 1, level 2, level 3, right down to level 7, and it changes with your rank. So ideally you want a nice short fat tree so you're getting paid on every single person that ever appears under you. Like I said, that's not reality. You're going to end up with people outside level 7 and dynamic compression is your insurance policy, but you do not rely on it. Okay, so don't aim to have really, really, really long strings. When they do happen, don't freak out about it though. Like I said, I've got one down to level 10 and I can't change that. It's just naturally how it happened from people sharing the oils. Okay, so sorry, I didn't press the share button. I just went straight to the screen. On our compensation. Everybody understands what you need to structure for the ranks. So once you hit Premier, they actually require structure, not just monthly OV. So in up to Elite, it doesn't matter where they are. You just need that volume. Once you hit Premier, it needs to be in qualifying legs. So you're going to need executive legs at Premier, Elite legs at Silver, and so on and so forth as you go up to Presidential Diamond. That is all available on the doTERRA website in the build guide if you haven't seen it, which is what I was referencing before. And you can, sorry, I didn't mean to stop share. You can see this is down here, level 7. It's where you get paid 7%. That's a big difference to 2%. So it kind of shows you where you want your big wide and where you want your smaller wide. It tells you right here. So when you're looking at your own tree and what you need to do, the big keys to keep in mind are the quick ways of getting money is through Power of 3. And the only way to guarantee you're going to get paid is if they're above level 7. But take solace in the fact that there is that insurance policy of dynamic compression to pick up any pieces it can for you. So has that explained most? This was to be very basic, guys. I didn't want to go into great detail. It was just so people could understand how your paycheck is made up and give you some insight into making decisions to help from the get-go in maximising what you can earn from doTERRA. So anybody have questions? If you don't want to talk, you're welcome to just throw them into the chat box or unmute yourself and ask away. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to be that dude again.
You're allowed to be that dude.
How do we encourage width rather than depth in our tree growth?
So it comes down to placements. So if you're doing a lot of enrolling, everybody has their own system for placements as far as their decision-making process. For me, from get-go, it has been connection first. So if someone comes to me to enroll and I've got their sister and they actually get along, and I check that first because, you know, like I would hate to put my foot in it and put sisters together that don't talk to each other. That does happen. But I always check for connection first. If there is somewhere on my team that this person will fit, they belong, and it's where they should be, that's where they go first and foremost, because that's where they're going to get loved. That's where they're going to get the support. That's where they're going to feel at home. The second question is there a location support that's needed? So if there's not a person connection, I'll look at where should they go to get local support. So if I enroll someone that's in Brisbane and I'm not in Brisbane, I'm not going to stick them somewhere on my team that is with a bunch of Cairns people if I've got Brisbane team. So then that's the second decision I make. Then basically the third one is if that doesn't exist, if there's no connections, if they're living in the same town as me so I can support them both over the phone, Zooming, locally, everything, then I get to go, oh, where are they going to help me? You honestly don't get to question 3 very often. Most of the time, question 1 and question 2 wipe out question 3 because it's all about them. And at the end of the day, the more supported they are and the more loved and confident they are in the product, the more product they love. So that is how I've always done it. And the other thing too, to encourage short fat trees, is if everybody is sharing oils and enrolling people, they naturally grow their own little front lines. So the key is probably not being scared of fat front lines, but we have this notion that we must only have 3 people on our front line because it is very much sacred real estate. But the thing is, everyone's front line is a front line. So if I've got someone on my 3rd level and I keep them to only 3 people and I keep doing that myself, we're naturally going to end up with a much deeper tree. So like I personally have 7 people on my front line. That was 10 until a few days ago, but I've cleaned my tree up and I now have 7 on my front line. So there's other people in my team that have got 8 or 9 people on their front line. But through those 8 or 9 people, they consistently get their power of 3 because there's always 3 people that do 100 PV, and between the combined 8 or 9 of them, they hit their 600 OV.
Will the system automatically pick up, so say if you have more than 3 in your 7, you have 5 of your 7 place qualified holdings, will doTERRA's system automatically pick up the 3 highest ordering, the 3 highest performing?
Yeah, well, it all counts anyway. So if you do have 5 on there, it doesn't matter whether one orders 300 OV and one orders 100. As long as 3 of them are over 100, it's going to combine all the rest for the 600 anyway.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Anybody else have questions? Don't be shy. Okay, I will end recording.